Okay, so hi everyone. It's Charnice here from Don't Blame Shar, where we discuss and dive into all things competition, reality television. And today I'm beyond excited to chat with Chelsea, the incredible winner of Big Brother 26 and the only excuse me, to win the perfect game. Chelsea wowed fans with her strategy, resilience, and personality throughout the season. And today she's here to share inside scoop on her journey to victory, the challenges she faced, and what's next for her after the perfect game and maybe even some BB27 insight, which she wants to see. So let's get into it. So, Chelsea, our first question is, how did your life change immediately after winning Big Brother 26, and what's going on right now?
Yeah, life has completely flipped upside down since Big Brother season 26. I was working like for my local church before, just living it up in Rancho Cucamonga, just living a low life. And I've rarely been home since Big Brother season 26. I'm traveling all around, just enjoying life. So many doors have opened post the show that I've stepped into. So it's a completely same me, just completely different life that I've been loving.
Absolutely. So it sounds like the show has, in some ways, benefited you with the exposure and being able to do more of what you want outside of just church and stuff.
Yeah, so I've always said even before the show, like I still want to reach the next generation. I still want to do uh what I've been called to do. I just think Big Brother has expanded my stage and my stadium in which I do it. So it's just put me in places that I don't think I would have been in prior to that and stretched me. Like I kind of had to be pushed to go on Big Brother. So it's just been a season of stepping out of my comfort zone and yeah, I'm now reaching more people than I ever thought I would prior to Big Brother.
That's nice to hear that you gained a platform. And even to
Yeah.
follow up, before the show, what was your biggest motivation since you said you had to kind of be convinced into playing Big Brother?
Yeah, so I always had this thing inside of me that was like, there's more. I think I was comfortable before Big Brother. And so but I always felt like there's something more for me in this world. Like I meant to do more. I didn't know what that more meant though. So what motivated me? I'm an achiever. I always try to like top myself. That's just me. I'm competitive. So I've been an athlete my whole life. So really, when I get to any season of life where I feel too comfortable, I start to ask myself, okay, how can I level up in my life? So that was my motivation, myself, me, myself, and I. I was like, how do I top myself? What else is there out there that I can explore and do? And Big Brother was that thing. And I'm excited that I said yes to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And from our understanding, you are a huge fan of Big Brother.
Yeah, I am a super fan. Okay, I'm not a fan like Quinn from my season or even Joseph, where they were like watching the live feeds. They remember what happened June 12th in 2005 on Big Brother. I don't know all that stuff. I've been watching it since season 10. I wasn't a live feeder, but I watched every single episode since season 10. So I am a Big Brother super fan, like fanatic. I loved the show before I went on. So imagine me going on the show. I was geeking out. I was like, oh my goodness, what? This is actually happening. So yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, finding out that you're a fan, is there, and now a winner, is there a particular like gameplay that you kind of favor? Like, are you someone who, in watching Big Brother, do you favor a strategist or like someone who has a more in-depth social game or a comp beast per se?
Yeah, so I before going into Big Brother, I said it's a social experiment. Like you're stuck in this house. It's like a microcosm of the world, and you're stuck with these people you don't know. So really, I said, how do I just get along with humans in the house? So that was my number one strategy. But I took a look at Derek's game from season 16, Vanessa's game. I forgot what season she was on, but she was like she is one of the greatest players to never win, in my opinion. So I looked at Derek's game, like highly likable, just was running the house. And I look at Vanessa, who is super smart and a strategist. That was my goal. How do I be smart? How do I strategize my way to the end? And how do I play a game that doesn't require me to have to win competitions? So that was my goal because it's just sometimes these competitions are up to luck. And I didn't want to have to rely on winning a competition to stay safe in the game. So that was my strategy. What did Derek do? What did Vanessa do? How do I kind of combine those games? But everybody always is like, how do you model who should I model my game after? I'm a firm believer in this. Every season is so very different. And because the people make up the season. So you can say, I want to play a game like Tucker or Chelsea or Derek or Taylor or whoever, but I don't think that's going to do anybody any good in whatever season that they enter because the people make up the season. But that was my goal. Like Derek was dope, Vanessa was great, but who is Chelsea in the midst of it? And I played that game.
Yeah, and I think people would argue that it paid off because you are the first woman to win a perfect game.
Yes,
Well,
insane.
we had some fans ask, and we kind of like polled them, how was it on the inside and going into your game strategy? Because some of your closest relationships early
Yeah.
on in the game were with Cedric and Brooklyn. So after those votes, we kind of had to see you sort of rebuild. How was rebuilding? Because you sort of had to lose. They were like your closest allies. How was that and having to go from the bottom to top?
Oh, it was absolutely miserable, terrible. I was dying inside. I lost Cedric and I was on the outside of the vote. It was like a majority vote to get him out. So I was on the outside of that. And then my best friend Brooklyn, I lost. So, and then I was put on the block that week. So my whole game, freaking Tucker, my whole game was blown up that week. And so immediately after that, it was so very hard to rebuild. But in that moment when I lost both of them, I said, I can go two ways, one of two ways. Either I could blow up this whole house, because I knew a lot. I was well insulated. I was like, I could blow up alliances, I could blow up people, I could blow up their character, I could do that. Or I can lay low and start to rebuild my relationships. Which one has more fruit? This one did. Like I can blow up and have a cool, cute like TV moment and be the villain for a second, which would have been fine, but it wouldn't have led me to win the game. So I had to really restructure every single day since Brooklyn left the house. I did not stop thinking. My brain was racing. I was reading, evaluating, studying every single person in the house since the day Brooklyn left. And it was mentally exhausting, but it paid off in the end because I haven't watched my season back, so I don't fully know everything. Yeah, I've only watched a few up into Angela's blow up, like episode 4. So I haven't watched the full season yet, but living in the house, I can say I was pretty well aware of the temperature of the house
Hmm.
at all times. And that's because I didn't stop thinking. So it was hard to rebuild, but I think it was necessary and I'm grateful I did.
Yeah, and just hearing your feedback and sort of how when you lost Cedric and Brooklyn, I would even go on to ask, what did you feel that was your biggest turning point in the game that sort of got you to the path to the end that you took?
I think there was like a conglomerate, a myriad of things that helped my game. I don't think there was like a one specific point, but one pivotal thing for me and how I decided to play the game was Mackenzie. So when I was put on the block, Mackenzie was really one of the only one because what people don't know is when you're put on the block, thank God I was only put on there once because I didn't like how it felt. When you're put on the block, everybody starts to act weird towards you. They act like you have freaking leprosy and they stop talking to you. They don't look at you. It's like so weird. I'm like, it's a game, y'all. I'm on the block. And so everybody starts to act weird. So when you're put on the block, you really start to see where people stand with you, who's acting weird, who's not. So I started to study how people were moving when I was put on the block. And so I studied Mackenzie. What I realized at that point, she had won multiple competitions.
Yeah.
She wasn't necessarily that like she wasn't in an alliance. Nobody was trying to work with her. And she was the only one that week that I was put on the block that would come to me and kind of report the temperature of the house. She said, "Hey, I think you're safe. Hey." So at that moment, I was like, I think Mackenzie's actually rocking with me. She is a comp beast. So that weight can be put on her back. If and for her to have to win to survive, I said if I become an ally with her, that's more protection. And I just like her. She's a dope person. So that I think was the turning point was like taking Mackenzie under my wing because nobody else was. And we see how she played in the season. 11 competition wins. The girl's
Yeah.
insane. So I think that was the turning point. Nobody wanted to work with her. And I said, let me grab her. And I'm glad I did.
Absolutely. And just speaking in your alliance with Mackenzie, because this is a social game, is
Yeah.
there any relationship outside of obviously Cam and
Yeah.
MJ that you wish you sort of maybe managed better? It could also be Cam and MJ. because you obviously have more information than us on
Yeah.
the outside, but is there
Yeah.
any relationship that you think maybe I could have managed better and sort of maneuvered that way towards the end of the game?
Yeah, I think hindsight is always 2020. And I would never say I like would have changed my game necessarily because I won, but I would have changed, yeah, maneuvered some relationships. Rubina is one that I definitely would have like linked up. I don't know, it's so weird. After the show, we were just like this, like
Oh,
white on rice cannot like stay off of each other. We're obsessed with each other. Well, I'm obsessed with her. So I wish I would have managed her relationship a little bit better because she also was had chemo, T-Core, Tucker. She had a lot of people on her side, so I feel like the game wouldn't have been so hard for me if I would have managed Rubina's my relationship with Rubina better because I would have been protected pretty much on every side of the house had I nurtured that relationship a little bit better. So I would say that one, and that's about it.
mm. And just even to go further, even more into your relationships, your jury management I thought was pretty incredible, especially
Thank
in
you.
the messages that you were able to give the jurors. But did you ever have an idea of how you thought the jury may be voting? And was there any fear in a final three with Cam and MJ that perhaps maybe
Yeah.
the vote wouldn't go your way?
Yeah, it's such a great question. So I and they didn't show this in the live feeds because I think they were cut off by this time, but I had a conversation with Cam a couple of days before the finale. Because Cam had been working with me since day one, like literally hour one. Like we were just like, he's just like, I want to work with you. And we did, and I doubted him the whole time, but he really was working with me the whole time, like had my back. So I felt towards the end, but I was working so closely with Mackenzie, I felt towards the end, I'm like, I think I have to take Mackenzie to the final two. We've worked so hard together. Like I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't take her to the final two. So I had a conversation with Cam a couple days before the finale, and I said, "Hey, if I'm in final two with Mackenzie, how would you feel about that?" So we had that conversation, and he knew that I was going to take her to the final two. Um, and so he told me how he felt about it. He was like, "You guys deserve number one and number two. I like it's obvious." And then I said, "Well, where would your vote go?" Because I'm like trying to probe, and I'm asking him, "Where do you think jury would lie?" And Cam hands down was like, "You're gonna have everybody's vote. There's no way." He was like, "Maybe Leah and Angela might not have your vote, but you're gonna win this game if you're in the final two." So he kind of shed light on jury management that he saw for my game that I didn't necessarily see. Because you don't know. You're so like anxious and nervous if people are going to be bitter or figure out that I was a pivotal reason why a lot of them went home. So I was nervous towards the finale. I'm like, if they find out that I kind of like manipulated everybody, they might be mad at me. So I final five, I kind of knew I was like, I played the best game. I knew that. But I also was aware that our cast was a little bit more emotional. And I was like, I don't know if they're gonna vote for somebody who they didn't get dogged by. So I was nervous. I was nervous. I thought my jury management, I was gonna either win or lose by 4-3. That's what I thought. So genuinely, and that's something Cam and I talked about a lot towards the end. So I was shocked by the unanimous vote, completely shocked. I was not expecting that at all. When Angela's key came out and said Chelsea, I said I'm winning this game. This is crazy. I'm winning this. So yeah, I was surprised, but I knew that if I sat next to Kim, I would win.
Mhm.
I was iffy about Mackenzie. And so, but that's why people see in live feeds that I only studied my speech based off of Mackenzie's game, not even Cam's. So I got little Q-tips in the house. I was running numbers. I was doing so much against Mackenzie because I was afraid if I sit in the final two with her, will her competition wins be the thing that causes her to win this whole game?
Yeah.
If it is, how can I combat that? So yeah, I was nervous sitting next to her, but I wouldn't have regretted it if I took her to the final two. We both deserve those seats.
Yeah, and I feel like this is such good insight, especially because I'm a feedster myself, and I feel like in the final three with you, MJ and Kim, it reminded me a lot of just the prior season where Matt and Jag, they were also in feeds, and they were kind of like Jag was kind of having the struggle between like, do I go to the end with Bowie, do I go to the end with Matt?
Yeah.
So to hear that from you and just I think a lot of people in Final Three when they eventually go on to win, like they kind of have that struggle. So that's something
Yeah.
I really love hearing
Because
about him.
it's a $750,000 decision. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And well, not necessarily your decision because people vote for you, but you have that. I didn't really think about the money to the end, till like literally the last 5 days, maybe. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like I can almost touch this win. So it starts to weigh really heavy on you, and your mind just starts to race. And there's only three people in the house, so you're very bored. You have a lot of time to think and like overthink. That's what I did a lot. So yeah, I wrestled with it towards the end, but ultimately I was too close to Mackenzie and we fought too hard. It was a no-brainer for me to take her. And I knew like Cam and I love each other. He'll get over it. He was so nonchalant the whole game. I knew he'll might be mad at me for 2 seconds and then we'd be good. And that's what happened.
Mm. And even in speaking, as you told us that there was a moment between you and Cam that we didn't see on
Yeah.
feeds, were there any particular alliances that were key in the game that maybe they sort of under edited that I know you said you didn't rewatch, but they maybe might have like under edited or something that we didn't see with any other players?
Ooh, that's again, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but one thing that like Quinn, Leah, and Joseph were extremely tight, like extremely tight. And I don't know if they showed it, but they were the only ones that kind of were like not kind of. They were like clocking my game and not really working with me. And so my awareness of that helped. The moment that I felt like somebody was trying to come against me and started to read my game, I was like, we gotta get them out. And I worked my tail off to get them out of the house. So I'd say those three were and Joseph had only been on the block once. Leah had only been on the block once. Like these people, and Quinn two times, maybe three. So these people were playing hard, but under the radar that I think, yet strategically, is Joseph especially, I think got under edited with how powerful he was in the house. And I talked to him just recently, kind of dissecting his game, and he is a huge reason that my game was so he made my game difficult, and I commend him for that. Like, had he not been in the house, I would have had an easy sailing. So I think he was under edit. I think he is a much smarter player than Big Brother edited him to be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that about Joseph because I was going to ask you, who did
Yeah.
you feel, whether it be in social strategy, just
Yeah.
the game bot, or as a comp beast, who did you feel was your biggest competition in BB26?
Yeah, that's a great question. Tucker.
Mm.
Tucker was
Okay.
my biggest one because people were intimidated by him.
Mhm.
So they didn't even want to bring up his name as an option to put
Yeah.
him on the block. I'm like, you guys are all stupid if you think that you'll ever beat him in anything. So Tucker was my greatest because he had Joseph in his ear, and Joseph was very smart. So he had an awareness of the game that Joseph gave him, and he also had this ability to win competitions. Having that together, you're unstoppable. So I would say he was my biggest threat in the house, and him and T-Core. I think
Or yeah.
T-Core is the only person that if I would have sat next to in the final two, I would have lost. In the
Wow.
whole cast is T-Core, hands down. So T-Core and Tucker, the T's, yeah, they were my biggest threat, which was hard because T-Core is like I'm obsessed with T-Core, and we hit it off in the very beginning of the game as well. But I also knew to protect her game was a detriment to me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, those two were really the only two that I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to be very difficult to beat in this game.
Yeah, that's really incredible to hear because I feel like, especially as fans, that was something that we were often wondering, like, as your path to the end, if someone like Tikor, who was obviously a social player, really
Yeah.
strong social player during the game, if that was something that you were always kind of like aware of as someone who's also a social but also very strategic player. So,
Yeah, I was fully aware of T-Core's game and commended it and loved it and wanted to work with it. At the same time, my relationship with Joseph and Tucker in the house, she had, but I didn't. So I knew that there was some divide. I also knew that Cam and MJ were iffy about T-Core. So I said, it's a
yeah.
number when you get to the final like eight, nine, it's a numbers game at that point. So
Yeah.
you're like, do I protect T-Core, who has one or two people behind her? But aren't winning any competitions, or do I side with Cam and Mackenzie who have more of a chance to win, which in turn protects me? So yeah, it was like a numbers game towards the end, but I knew T Core's game, and um it was a smart game. She played a smart game. She just got caught in freaking Janky world where Janky messed all of us up.
Yeah, that's really, yeah, that just sounds like it's a more, I think we all know, but Big Brother is such a risk-averse game, and you
Yeah.
sort of figuring out which side you want to go to, which ultimately you picked the right side.
Pick the right side. Yeah, and you're right. Like it is, you're making decisions day by day, almost week by week. So it's things are constantly changing in the house that you kind of have to make different decisions that you thought you would have made in the beginning of the game. So that's the hard part about it is it's so unpredictable in a lot of areas and uncontrollable that you have to kind of make some decisions that are like, this might bite me in the butt, but I'm just gonna do it and hopefully it pays off.
And ultimately it did for you.
Ultimately, it did.
Oh, leading on to sort of moving out of your game and more so as Big Brother as a show and as a competition reality thing, what's your take on the game's evolution over the seasons and what type of game would you like to see win BB27 and beyond?
Yeah, amazing question. Okay, so I think the evolution of the game this last season with the incorporation of AI Arena,
Mhm.
it's phenomenal. It sucks as a player. Playing it, I hated it. Ainsley, I wanted to smack that prototype every single day. I just wanted to break it. I didn't want to see Ainsley's face. I didn't want to hear her voice. And then that stupid AI arena, just as a player, it sucks. So I hope they bring it back for season. I think they are for season 27. And I'm so sorry to every player who has to endure it, but it's such good TV because it truly is what you see is what you get. We don't know who's about to sit in the block on a live television, like live show day. We don't know how the vote's gonna go. So it made it so it brought it back to like old school BB where you're like, what the heck is about to happen? Because I think the last couple years it had become very predictable about who was gonna go home. And so BBA Arena made it so unpredictable. So I love the evolution of that. And it causes people to show their cards early in the game. Because when you have three people on the block, you have to have conversations about three different scenarios that could potentially happen. And you reveal your cards very early. So that's what I hope happens. They bring it back so 16 other people can be tortured by the arena like we were. So I hope that happens. But the type of like gameplay I want to see next is like a unique gameplay. And what I mean by that is it's frustrating to see certain players or certain seasons try to emulate what's already happened. Like play your game and let it be unique to your season. Our season, we weren't trying to like break records and do anything crazy. We just let the game full like the veto being used every single week.
Yes.
We weren't planning that. We were just like we didn't recognize that until halfway through the game. Like, oh my gosh, we've used the veto every week. We weren't trying to like, create this crazy television show. We were just playing Big Brother. So I hope that's what we see in this next season. People just play a strong game. Whether that is strong strategically, whether that's strong in physical comps, I just want people to go out and play really strong games and not really care what other people think in the house. That's OG Big Brother. If we go back to like seasons 5 through like 13, 14, it's a different type of Big Brother. I
Yeah.
would like to see a little bit of that come back.
Yeah. Do you maybe see yourself returning for another season, an All Stars, or potentially a different reality television show?
Yeah, okay. Okay, without oh my gosh. Yes. Short answer, yes. If Big Brother the executive producers, like I have great relationship with them and they once I got out the house, one of them were like, you're stuck with this, right? And I said, y'all are stuck with me. What you talking about? So I would love to come back, whether it's an all-star season or a winter season, whatever the case may be. If Big Brother calls on me, they know I'll answer the phone. Like being a fan to now winning the game, it doesn't take away the fact that I'm a fan of the game and a fan of the show. So I'm like, however you guys need me, yes, I'll definitely come back. In regards to another reality show, yes, that stay tuned for
Okay.
that. So that's all I can say. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and our final question will be, how do you want to be remembered as a Big Brother winner?
Yeah, I've thought about that often in the house. Like what because you can go on Big Brother and play a character and make great TV. You can play the villain and know that you will be that villain character on reality TV. Um and have your 5 minutes of fame. But I thought I can either do that and then be forgotten because there's going to be another villain in the next season that everybody will hype about, and then so on and so forth. But for me, I said, how do I have longevity in the type of winner that I am? So I want to be remembered as somebody who was just a dang smart player, like classy, a little messy, but at the end of the day, like a winner that was worthy of the title, and one that's not like I want it to be talked about 10, 15 years from now of like this woman played a phenomenal game and didn't have to be an ass along the way. Now I have my moments where people are annoying me. That's life. Everybody just started to annoy each other and start talking mess. That's just normal life. But for me, I said I want to be remembered as a person that played a very strong game. I wanted to be remembered as somebody who stayed true to who they were, regardless of what people would say. And yeah, and whether I have to do that laying low or playing strong, I just said I want to have longevity in the type of win that I have, and I believe that I did accomplish that. I wanted to. I'm like, yeah, I could be crazy, and people love me for a season, or I could be, um, yeah, somebody that people looked at and say, dang, I remember her, and she played a perfect game, and thank God it worked out that way.
Absolutely. Well, Chelsea, I think you're a great winner, and I feel like most people will remember you as one of the best. I mean, you are the only woman to win a perfect game. So,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you so much for joining us on Don't Blame Shar, and we're looking forward to if you are gonna have any BB27 commentary that you can't spill. I don't.
I cannot say, but y'all already know I'm about to talk all season of Big Brother 27, regardless of what platform I'm gonna be on. You know I will be heavily involved with this next season. So yeah, get ready for my commentary and all the thoughts.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Of course.
Don't Blame Shar. I really appreciate it, Chelsea. And
Of
yeah,
course.
we're looking forward to your commentary.
Let's go.